Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys. So, I want to get straight into it. I want to get straight into this story because I think it's a big talking point. You know, a lot of people accusing Errol Spence of faking the injury. A lot of the fans think there's something suspicious going on. See, I don't really like to talk about things that I don't know because I can't say for sure what the truth is. But what I will say, when Bernard Hopkins comes out and starts doubting the legitimacy of the injury, you start to scratch your head. You start to say, wow. Bernard Hopkins saying that I've been in the game a long time and something seems a little fishy, something seems a little off here. You know, something doesn't seem right. Something seems off. I don't understand why Errol Spence. And he also said, I think Errol Spence needs to provide proof. I've always been somebody that feels that fighters don't owe the fans anything, in the sense that why should he have to provide any kind of proof? Like people said the same with Billy Joe. He needs to provide x-rays and scans. And Bernard Hopkins said, I was the type of fighter that I would provide proof. I would provide scans. I would show the scans to the public. Basically, he said that, you know, a detached retina is something very serious. A detached retina is something not to be played with. And Bernard Hopkins was right. But he said it just seems a bit off, the fact that this came out of nowhere. But think about it, injuries do come out of nowhere. You know, an injury doesn't come with you knowing it's going to come. It just comes out of nowhere. But he just said the way things were going and the fact that this happened, it just seems a bit odd. It just seems off, according to Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins sees that. Listen, Bernard Hopkins has been in the game a long time. So when he says something doesn't seem right, and when he kind of questions doubt over an injury, you start to scratch your head. You start to think, is there something more going on than what we know? See, speculating is something I don't like to do because we don't know the truth. We don't know, like a lot of you guys seem to think, look, that video that I put up got a lot of, thumbs down. That means a lot of you seem to think that he's faking the injury, this, that, and the other. But I don't like speculating because I don't know. We don't know the truth. Really, let's be honest. We don't know the truth. We're speculating that this could happen. But when Bernard Hopkins comes out, he's also speculating because he doesn't know. But here's the thing. He knows a lot more than us. Firstly, he's been involved in boxing for a very long time. So he knows the patterns. And when something doesn't seem right, he would have a better understanding than people like us, because he's been in the sport for a very long time. So he knows the ins and outs. He knows everything. People like us, we're fans. We've been around the sport and we know that the sport at times can not do itself any favors, but we haven't got the inside of what goes on behind the scenes. But when Bernard Hopkins says he thinks something's dodgy going on, he thinks that there's something not right, you tend to stand up and kind of be like, okay, what could be up here? What could this be? What could Bernard Hopkins be? What could he be trying to say here? What does he know that we don't? What is he, I just personally think he kind of just maybe thinks that everything around it seems a bit weird. Now, a lot of fans have seemed to suggest that Errol wasn't looking great in sparring. He was getting lit up in sparring. Camp wasn't going very well. Gamo suggested that. But again, it's just speculation, because here's the thing. When you see a sparring video, how many times have you heard sparring videos and some guy getting beaten up in sparring and this, that, and then when they go into a fight, it's easy. People said prior, to Errol, when Errol Spence had the car crash, they said that Errol Spence ain't looking himself. Look, he's a bit, he's coming on his words, he's slurring his words and stuff. But then he goes out and puts on a great performance against Danny Garcia. Some people still thought that performance wasn't great. Some people thought that actually Errol Spence wasn't the same Errol Spence after the accident, even in the Danny Garcia fight. I personally think the performance was so dominant that nobody really looked into that much. Because he dominated that fight against Garcia. And Garcia's no joke. He beat Garcia better than anybody's beaten Garcia. But when Bernard Hopkins comes out and says this thing, is it something to do with the accident that's, come again? Maybe he got hit in sparring, and maybe, he injured himself when he had the accident. Because we know that he had problem with his eyes, or, there was definitely he had issues with his eye in the accident as well. So is it something to do with that? Is it just a freak injury? We just don't know. A lot of people have questioned the photo. They think that anyone can put a plaster over their eye. But again, that's like, by you putting a picture out there, it's like, oh yeah, anyone could put a pad over their eye. It's kind of like, okay, then we're not going to believe anything from now on from a fighter. You basically could go into anything. Like, here's the thing, right? For example, when Manny fought Mayweather, how do we know his shoulder was injured? There's nothing to know that his shoulder was injured. But we go off what the fighters and they tell us, because there's no proof that his shoulder was injured. What's the proof? If that's the case, when people say, well, he was in a slingshot, for example, well, anyone can put themselves in a slingshot and protect. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can say this about anything and literally everything. You could say this, if you were going to go down that road, we could say that about literally anything and everything. So it's kind of like, where do we draw the line? When do we believe a fighter? When do we don't? Now, a lot of people seem to think that he was struggling to make weight. He wasn't doing well in camp. And that's the reason Al Heyman pulled him out, because he didn't want him to lose. And Errol Spence is a cash cow. Now, is that a possibility that happened? We don't know. We don't know. That's the truth. Because if I can't say something that I don't know, because I'd be speculating. The difference between giving your opinion about a fight, it's just your opinion. If I think X, Y is going to beat someone, that's another matter. But giving your opinion about something that you don't really know the actual truth, it's hard. I can't sit here and say, well, you know what, this, that, and the other, because I don't know. And a lot of you don't know, but you're just giving your opinion, which I don't want to do, because I don't know. Because I might be wrong. I'm basically shooting a dart out there, which I don't know if it's true. So I just don't think that would be right. And that's why I don't want to speculate. But Bernard Hopkins, he's basically maybe being the first one that's come out and questioned it, of a boxer, or he's the first one that's come out and said that, he thinks, is this something more going on here? Possibly. I'm not doubting, there may be, but we don't know. This is what I'm saying. It's like some of you have kind of like said, he's not injured, this, that, and the other. You're kind of already saying what happened when you don't know what's happened, because you don't know for sure. Now, what Bernard Hopkins is saying, that he's a guy that would show proof. Should fighters have to show proof? Because let's be honest, scans and stuff, these aren't things that we should share with the public. These are things that are private. Should Billy Joe have shown scans that his eye was messed up against Canelo? He didn't. But does he really need to? No. Because we could see his eye was bad. I just don't get the fact that why would he turn down his biggest payday? Why would he turn down all those things? It just doesn't make sense. Even if he was getting beaten up in sparring. And for some of you to say that, he's not the boss. I just don't agree. I just don't know why he would do that. But again, like I said, Bernard Hopkins coming out and saying that. Bernard Hopkins, like I said, is a guy that's, when he says something, we stand up and listen, because we know Bernard is a legend. And he's somebody that's been involved in boxing a very long time and knows boxing like the back of his hand. He knows the things that go on in boxing like the back of his hand. So he's somebody that, you know, when he says something, we take notice, you know, because of how long he's been in the sport. So it definitely has made me look at the situation in a different way. However, at the same time, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to sit here and say and give my opinion about this, that, and the other, because I don't know. And none of you know, for sure. So I hope Errol Spence the best. And I think Bernard said that, and he said he's a future Hall of Famer. Again, I still think he's got a lot more to do to become a future Hall of Famer. But, you know, it depends, because like I said, how is he going to bounce back from this? Now, he has said he's bounced back from worse. But again, like, we don't know. I still don't know how much that accident has impacted him, because the Garcia fight, he was so good, and Garcia didn't really test him much. I don't know. And this is why I think this Manny fight would have not been easy. And I still don't know, these injuries that he picked up here, has it got something to play with a car crash? Because let's be honest, man, guys, you've got to realize that was a serious car crash. You know, surely there's going to be some kind of long-term, especially when you're fighting at the highest level, that kind of accident's got to have some kind of impact on you moving forward. I just don't see how someone can go through such a serious accident and just come out unscathed, you know, where the body's just brand new. I don't, you know, it's definitely had some kind of impact. But in the Garcia fight, maybe it was just a case where Garcia just didn't test him, you know. I would love to see him fight someone like Porter again, to see, because Pacquiao would have tested him, but Porter, someone like that, could he go through a wall like that again? I don't know. You know, the Garcia fight basically, everyone thought, well, he's back and he's as good as ever. But again, I don't know, because Garcia really didn't push him. And if there was someone else in there that maybe pushed him a little bit more, who knows? We don't know. We may have seen a bit more fragility after the accident. But his performance was so good, because Garcia, I think, was poor in that fight. I don't think it was anywhere near his best. And I think Errol Spence got made to look even better because of the fact that I think Garcia wasn't as good for some reason. So, to be totally honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what Spencer's got left. I don't know. And like I said, this fight would have told us a lot more about him. Because one thing's for sure, if he wasn't at his best, or there was vulnerability there, Pacquiao would have definitely exposed it. So, yeah, let's see, man. Let's see how this all plays out. Because what you've got to realize, if just say Crawford does get a fight with Spence, that's going to be... That's going to definitely influence the way that fight, or people, you know, we need to see how Spence looks, man. We need to see how Spence looks, but only time will tell. He looked great against Garcia. But let's see if Errol Spence is able to come back and have that great career that people were expecting him to. Only time will tell, guys. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.